Ford might be a brand that's lost some of its mojo over the last decade or so, thanks to things like an inconvenient almost bankruptcy and dalliances with other brands like Land Rover and Volvo. Oh, and let's not forget some of the unwholesome cars they've made in that time, like the Everest. But lately, they have been making a steady and very consistent comeback. Last year alone, we drove the new Ford Focus and the new Ranger, both very impressive machines from the company that Henry built. Now they're venturing into crossover territory with the Kuga. Or is it an SUV? Ford themselves are a little confused. The press stuff says it's a crossover, but the website calls it an SUV. Anyway, strict marketing definitions aside, this is the Kuga, a competitor to the likes of VW's Tiguan. Although not very much competition in terms of the range, the Kuga is basically available in two flavors, the lower spec Trend and this titanium model, which has got some nice extras like a panoramic roof and 18-inch wheels. As for the rest, the only other exterior difference is the lesser Kuga doesn't get the very dark privacy glass that's on our test car. It's a decent looking thing, this crossover/SUV, with just the right amount of attitude and nice touches at the rear like chrome exhaust tailpipes and a diffuser. Serves no real purpose, but it looks good. It's not understated anyway, with strong lines and features on every corner of the car. On the crossover side, it has a ride height closer to a sedan than a 4x4, but it definitely has more of that SUV appeal, which may account for Ford's intra-company confusion. A split tailgate makes access to the boot easy, and once you're in there, there are some nice surprises. Chief among them is that Ford haven't attempted to fit a third row of half seats in here, making the Kuga a comfortable place for 5. Really comfortable, and not just because of the spec level, which is impressive, but because some really simple and clever design. Below the window, they've got some padding for those who prefer that particular driving position, and then there's a recess that's the perfect size for a set of keys with a gate remote. In fact, all through the cabin, there are nice touches that make life in here very, very pleasant indeed. Besides all the obvious stuff like dual-zone climate control and Bluetooth and iPod integration and cruise control and keyless ignition, the Kuga packs comfortable seats, electric on the driver's side, and good ergonomics all round. The materials are decent, and even though telling someone that the center console in your SUV is finished in silver plastic may sound horrendous, it actually works quite well in here. Rear passengers get a fold-away tray table, and the boot has a simple mechanism that operates the load cover. I've already mentioned that your options in the Kuga are fairly limited, and that's true of the engine as well, because this is the only one that's available. It's a 2.5-litre 5-cylinder turbo with 147 kilowatts and 320 newton meters. So, your choices might be limited, but the engine itself certainly isn't. Used with great success in various Ford and Volvo products, the engine has proven again and again just how flexible it is, with a great 5-cylinder snort as an added bonus. It is a little odd that Ford aren't offering a diesel or even a smaller capacity petrol in the Kuga, given the appeal this car will have to city-bound drivers. But what it lacks in pure efficiency, it makes up for with impressive delivery. It may be a turbo, but there's just no wait for the power delivery, and as long as you keep your right foot down, it just keeps on coming. It's not scarily quick or really that impressive, it's just a constant smooth stream of delivery which makes driving this bigger than average car really easy. Just like the engine, there's only one gearbox choice, and that's the 5-tronic automatic. It has a manual mode that can be a little harsh on downshifts, but left to its own mechanical devices, it's as smooth and as easy as the engine. The Kuga has a permanent all-wheel drive setup with variable torque delivery that sends as much drive to the rear wheels as needed for the best traction. But if you want diff locks or a low-range gear set, look elsewhere. This thing might look like it can go off-road, and it can certainly handle the odd dirt track, but this Kuga definitely prefers city life. Proof of that can be found in its variable speed steering, and its sub-9-second 0 to 100 time, and the fact that it feels more like a car than anything else. Which some might see as a bad thing, but it's not, because this car feels great. Everything about it, the power, the handling, the build quality, everything has a sense of solidity to it. The Kuga is one of those cars that is every bit as good to drive as it is to look at, and it delivers a surprising sense of satisfaction. But then again, you'd expect that for 395,000 Rand, which is not a small investment to make in a car. A comparable VW Tiguan would cost just over 410,000 Rand, and for that you get fractionally more power, but a standard features list that is substantially shorter. So when you make that comparison, the Kuga starts looking like good value. As it stands, this is a very good car, but the Kuga family might be let down by a lack of other model choices. It's almost impossible to go wrong with Ford's 5-cylinder turbo motor, and in the Kuga it doesn't disappoint with plenty of smooth power. The Kuga is a very well-sorted SUV, but its sales will most certainly be limited because of an almost non-existent model range, and it's not the lightest on fuel either.